Hey guys, I'm Twan and welcome back to my channel. A little while ago I did a guide video on the medic class, so now I'd like to take some time and look at the support class. The support class is probably my favorite class because I feel it is most adaptable to the different situations you'll come across in Battlefield. Let's get started by looking at the primaries. One of the reasons I love this class so much is that I feel I can do well with all of the primaries. None of them are particularly underpowered, which is why I have multiple service stars with all of them but one. My personal favorite is the bar, specifically the storm and telescopic variants. Other ones that I use all the time are the show shot, MG15, and the Benet Mercier. The only gun I'm not a huge fan of in this class is the Madison MG, not because I think it's a bad gun, but the magazine blocks half of the screen, so it's kind of tough to have situational awareness. So, in the support class, all the primaries except for the show shot have a base damage of 23. So when you're selecting a primary, it's best to start by looking at the rate of fire. In CQB, guns like the bar are great because of their high rate of fire. However, in open spaces, guns like the show shot or Benet Mercier are good because the slow rate of fire allows for improved accuracy. It's worth mentioning that all of these guns have a bipod in at least one of their forms, so it basically turns these guns into a laser at long range. So I would advise to always use a bipod if you're going to be in a stationary spot, especially if you're defending. So now that we've looked at the primaries, next up let's take a look at the secondaries. For this class, the magazine size of your primary will determine your secondary because that determines the likelihood of getting caught reloading or out of ammo. Guns like the bar or the show shot have smaller magazines, so you'll be reloading a lot more often. Personally, I like taking the number 3 revolver to quickly finish off an enemy, or the repeater pistol M1912 to put a quick volley of shots out. It's important to be accurate with these guns because a miss with the revolver takes up too much time, and a miss out of the 1912 small magazine makes you more likely to have to do the long reload. For the other primaries, it won't matter as much what you take, so feel free to experiment and see what works for you. The C93 is worth giving a try at some point because of its moderate damage and fast rate of fire. Now what we have next are what makes the support class really adaptable, and that's the gadgets. One change to your gadgets can completely change your team function. The first thing that I always take with me, regardless of my objective, is the ammo box. Teammates are always going to need ammo unless they've just spawned. As long as they've fired any ammo, you can always earn points from resupplying them. Not to mention that if you ever go on a lengthy streak, you can always resupply your own ammo and gadgets. This is really useful because if you're in a pinch and you've already used the gadget that you need, you can always resupply it back. After the ammo box, there are a lot of options for your second gadget. The main choices are the crossbow, limpet charge, and the mortar. There's one other one that I'll address in a bit. Those 3 mentioned gadgets make this class adaptable because they're tools for CQB infantry, infantry out in the open, and vehicles. First up, the crossbow is excellent for CQB situations. For instance, on Fort Vaux, the tight spaces and soldiers packed like sardines make the crossbow fantastic whether you're attacking or defending. Moving outdoors, the mortar excels, especially when attacking. This is because defenders are often close together and more stationary than attackers. This allows you to put multiple rounds on one group to soften up the target before attacking. On the flip side, while defending, the mortar is also good because it can be absolutely devastating when attackers are caught in a choke point. Up next, the limpet charge is extremely effective against vehicles. The crossbow and mortar both have anti-vehicle variants, but they aren't that effective. The limpet charge is a magnetic shaped charge that can be stuck to any vehicle for massive damage. It's also fun to try and use against infantry if you can get creative. One good way to use it is to try and throw it through a window or into a building. However, a huge drawback is that you have to be literally right next to the target you want to blow up, so it leaves you extremely exposed. The gadget I didn't mention was the repair tool. Not many people use it, but it seems like DICE is trying to force more people to use it because of the latest patch. They made anti-air guns and field guns stop working at 50% damage to encourage people to fix them. But so far, it seems like people just seem to leave them broken. So now that we've covered the basics of gear choice, let's take a look at some tactics. To me, there are 2 ways to play support, defensive and aggressive. The support guns with bipods excel at defensive gameplay because you can select a spot, one with direct view of an attack or a cross-section of the attack, and then you can hail bullets down the enemy in a laser-like fashion. On the other hand, the storm variants of guns allow you to take heavy firepower on the move and press your team's advantage. This is one of the reasons the bar storm is so popular. It has excellent damage and a high rate of fire, making it a formidable foe when attacking a position. Another important thing to do with support is to provide covering fire. This is the purpose of the suppression mechanic. You don't want to do this for too long though in one place, because it gives away position pretty quickly and soon you'll have returning fire. Kind of related to this is knowing how to select a defensive position or attacking position for that matter. So what you want to do is you want to find a spot that's got a wide open view of the field where you can get as much fire down on as many people as possible. But this is also not to say that you want to go up on top of a hill where you're completely exposed. So one thing that I like to do is I like to go in between two hills where I got a straight view ahead of me, or I set up with a crossfire spot across where they're attacking. And then once you find your spot, what you want to do first off the bat is put down your ammo box. This is because while you're laying down fire, you won't have to worry about checking your ammo all the time, because you can just quickly reload and then it'll immediately resupply you. And then also, once it's time to move, you don't need to stop and resupply because you'll have all your bullets in stock already, so you're free to be on the move. Furthermore, with the ammo box, it seems that a lot of support players aren't very good about putting down the ammo box. And I think there's one good reason for this. When you go on attack, there's usually not a lot of people huddled together, especially when you're on the move. Because in order to use the box, you have to be stopped and huddled around it. So what is good to do is either right before an attack or right after an attack, you drop down the box when everyone's resupplying or gaining back their health, so you guys can be in full strength for your next attack and next push. I know I talked a lot about being defensive and how to set up defensive positions, but it's also important to know how to be aggressive with the support class. So one thing that you want to do is never underestimate the flanks. The flanks are rarely defended well, so a lot of times you can just push up the flank and either get behind them or come in from the side. And so when you have guns with huge amounts of ammo like the MG15, if you can just push up along the side and set up either just behind their line of fire or even behind them, you can get a lot of kills very quickly and give your team the advantage to push up towards the objectives. However, once you pick a spot, you also don't want to stay there forever, because once you start killing people from the flank, they're going to realize it and people are going to push up along the flank to come get you. So what you want to do is you want to fire, take out maybe 2 or 3 people, and then you want to relocate or just check the flank in front of you to make sure no one's coming to get you. So that's what I've got for you guys today on the support class. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. It really helps me out. As for more content coming on my channel, I'm going to have 2 more guides on the assault class and the sniper class coming up soon. So keep an eye out for those. I'm going to have airsoft gameplay coming out soon as well. Also be sure to head to my channel if you missed the medic video and want to get a look at that. There's some good information in there. And you can also run into some of my individual gun guides. So with that said, I'm Twan. Thanks for watching my video and enjoy the rest of this gameplay.
We have taken objective butter.